Started.
I'm Bob Barian, originally with the comic books from 1962 until their demise in early 2018, 2017 or so. But I am now a retired ex-doo-wopper. So
And I guess you joined, you said in 1962?
yeah, it was about 1962. They had just got done. Ronnie Premier, who was the original singer, originally his name was Ronnie Barzak, and he sort of lost his voice and moved to Virginia. And that was right after they did Manuel. And then I came in and we did Manuel again on the Citation label. And so there's like two recordings. So that's how I joined, and we went on to play the Milwaukee and Wisconsin area for many years until I would say late 70s or so, early 80s. But Floyd and William, the two brothers, passed away. Oh, 10, 12 years ago. William passed away, I believe it was when was that, 19, I forget, but it must be 12, 13 years. And Floyd just passed away like 3 years ago. So I'm the last remaining member, I guess, so to speak. So I'm here to tell you what I know.
I guess we'll start a little bit with you first. Before you joined the group, like, what kind of got you into the music?
Well, you know, I have this story. I was 14 years old, and I pretty much lived in the Milwaukee ghetto on 14th and Center. We used to go across the street to Franklin Square Playground. There were all the doo-wop groups sang and on the street corner and everything. And I was 13, 14 years old, and I remember going across the street, and this group was singing Sister Suki by the Turbans. And I remember I was just fascinated. I loved the song, and I knew then that I wanted to do that. And I found that I tried, and I actually could do it. So it was, love at first listening, so to speak. So I learned to love it then, and still love it.
So before that, I'm guessing you kind of listened to what your parents listened to, like on the radio? And
Oh
stuff
well,
like
my father was an immigrant from Armenia. He came over here in 1929 or so, and my mother was Russian Jewish. So neither one was like really into music, and I have five brothers, and only one other than myself is into music, and he's a drummer, and he still plays. My younger brother Alan, who's 2 years younger. But I didn't really come from, I grew up, around the black church, and we had a black church right next door. My parents had a grocery store in the inner city from from the 1940 until 1959 or so. So I learned to listen to the music then and loved it. I loved the gospel music. I used to hear the church next door singing and banging the tambourines, and it was just great memory for me.
So you mentioned earlier how you joined. You joined the comic books in '62. Like, how did that happen? Like, how did you discover
Well,
the comic books?
I was in high school, and I sang with a group called the Aristocrats, and we all got together like on the lakefront down in Milwaukee, where all the groups used to get together and sing. And I guess they heard me, and I was asked to join when Ronnie left and went to Virginia. I think he has since passed. He was a great, by the way, he was a great carpenter. He made furniture, and but he stopped singing. Oh, probably 1962 already, right after he moved to Virginia. So that's how I joined. They asked me to join, and we originally had four, which was comic books were always four, and me, Floyd, William, and Lloyd Johnson, who was Floyd's cousin, and he dropped out, and we became three. So we kept it as three, and that's how it wound up.
Cool. And I guess when you did your version of Manuel, where did you record that? Like in a studio?
That was in that Sauk City. We did one in Sauk City and one with what's his name on Fourth and Locust, Dave Kennedy Studios. We did it. So I'm unclear which version they use. First it was on the Citation label, and then some other label. I don't know, but they both were almost identical. You couldn't even tell them apart, because it was a four man harmony group. William was the bass singer, and me, Floyd, and Lloyd did the lead. So you can't really distinguish the voices. That's why both versions, they sounded alike, which basically they were.
Wow. And I guess, how was your experience just walking into the studio for the first time?
Oh, it was just, I can remember when I first started singing with a group, it was such an exciting time, and we wanted, we tried to find places to sing, and are they going to let us sing? We wanted to sing, so we wanted to sing for free. We tried to sing wherever we could, and it blossomed after that. I sang all through pretty much high school and after, and even grade school I started. But it was, the love of Doo-Wop. I really loved it. I really loved the vocal group scene, and still do.
I also, I guess, considering, you were probably one of the first racially mixed groups in Wisconsin, right?
I think we were basically, that was 1962, and an integrated group was quite unusual back then. And needless to say, we had terrible problems finding places to play. I can remember going to Appleton, and in 1963, 64, where they would let me stay at the motel, but you can stay here, but not them. And I had to come in sometime and let them in the back door, and we had really trouble finding places to play. Club owners didn't want to hire you. The clientele was pretty much restricted to an all-white audience. So it was pretty rough back then, But we persevered, and we found places to play, especially in Milwaukee, Muskego Beach and State Fair Park, and all these places in Appleton and Green Bay, the Piccadilly, and there's just so many. The names escape me now. There's just plenty names.
I guess thinking about those shows, is there any memories from those stories from those shows that stand out to you?
The stories about the shows.
Yeah, performing for their people and.
It seemed, I don't remember ever even starting to play where people didn't like the group. We were called the comic books. We did funny skits, and we did funny dances, and people liked the group immediately, But we went over, not to pat ourselves on the back, but we went over wherever we played. It was a segregated world at that time. But if you were an entertainer and people liked it, we didn't have. I could look out, and we played colleges and things like that, and there basically were not any black people in the audience, to say the least. But that's my memory of that. We always went over fairly well.
Well, that's great. And then you said you did skits and stuff, and I guess between like '62 to till you recorded later on, like what other like stuff did you have in your
Oh well, we did we recorded that. We did after that we did Young Blood, and we did For the First Time. And did you hear those at all? Yeah, and I did several on my own, Way Across the Sea and the Batmo, and we did all those, but. None of them were as big as Manuel was the pick hit of the week, I believe, in 1962 in Milwaukee. But we tried, but close but no cigar.
And I guess, yeah, I guess, was there any other groups that you guys looked up to around this area?
Oh yeah, there was, like I say, Loveless's group, the Supremes. That was, they did Patricia. You remember that? Yeah, and that was Philip Green, who just passed away, 4 or 5 years ago. Loveless, Philip, Carl Campbell, and Homer Walton. That was the four Supremes. And then there were the Esquires, who had the big hit, Get On Up. They were, I went to school with the, Gilbert and Elvis Moore, and that was a great group, too. And their sister Betty was a single singer on her own, who was fabulous on her own. But since then, sadly, they're all, deceased now. So, but they were a big influence, and there was just so many groups back then. The names are sort of, I'm an old man now. I can't remember everything, but there were quite a few,
Yeah, I guess it's pretty common in New York, but would you guys ever sing on the street corners and like kind of battle with other groups?
Oh yeah, we had everybody, that old who had the best bass singer, who had the best first tenor, they were called, the fifth was the first tenor, the guy that sang falsetto. And there was always the thing, who had the best lead singer and best harmony, and but we got together most 2-3 groups at a time and sang back and forth, and outside on it. Yeah, it wasn't like New York on a street corner. It was down at the Milwaukee lakefront, a place called The Point, where all the groups came down to sing, and it was quite the show.
That sounds really cool.
That was really lots of fun. Lots of fun.
I guess it's interesting too, because I guess when you think about it, you know, the kind of doo-wop era, as they say, kind of died out.
Oh,
in
it did, yeah.
63, but you guys just kept going.
Well, we just kept, it was hard to, the Doo-Wop Daddies were a group here in Milwaukee that, it was an all-white group that did doo-wop, and they sort of revived it a little bit, But as far as doo-wop went, Milwaukee wasn't a great place to be a doo-wop singer. All the doo-wop singers and the big shows were all in out east, New Jersey, Pittsburgh. I knew there's a great white group they made, the rapper called the Jaggers, and I met them when I was on the road, and they were from Aliquippa, Pennsylvania, and they're great blue-eyed soul group, But me and Jimmy Ross, the lead singer, we're still in contact even today, and that this is, I was 26 years old, so this is, quite a long time ago, but it's great memories, I say.
That's pretty cool. I guess, let me think. So you recorded that standard doo-wop song, Manuel, and then
Yeah.
those other soul songs more. I guess towards the 70s, did you guys think about recording more, or? Was it
I guess we just sort of, I went out on my own and I got my own group, and I was just a lead singer. I was with the Good Intentions in Milwaukee, and then I went with the Swingin' Lads, which was a group that they were on Ed Sullivan 2 times, and before I got in the group. But I was in a show group for a while. They did the comedy thing and played Vegas, and I was completely out of R&B and doo-wop at that time. It was just all showy standards and pop rock but it was just a phase. I looked at the past. I was the house band at the Attic, a big club in Milwaukee during 1965, 66. But I opened for we opened for so many we opened for Johnny Rivers, the Everly Brothers, my God, Dave Clark Five. Dallas, we opened for Gladys Knight and the Pips. There were so many that we opened up for that and Bobby Sherman. Boy, oh boy, it's just there's so I can't even think of all of them. The Turtles, but I never got to intimately know any of them, but they were, good friends while we were, while we played. Chuck Berry, came here, but we got to play with a lot, quite a few, because of the Attic, the Platters we opened up for the Platters twice at the Attic back in the '60s. So I have great memories, great memories.
Wow, that's really cool. And I guess going back to the comedy routines real quick, like what songs would you do, like some of the fun bits too and stuff like that?
What's
For the comedy routines you guys.
Oh, the comedy routines. We had it was a fight scene. We did "Along Came Jones" by a lot of the Coaster songs, and we added funny voices to it and whatever. We did "Shopping for Clothes." You remember "Shopping for Clothes" by the Coasters? We did that, and we acted it out. And we used to do a thing where we'd fight, and I would smack William in the face. He'd fall on his back, and he did this shaking thing where he was on the ground like he was having a fit, and I would stop him. But we tried all kinds of things. Some were good, and some were. Looking back in retrospect, some were really lame. But that was a different time. We weren't proficient at writing comedy material. That's for sure.
That sounds really fun. I would love this.
It was a lot of fun. Like some guys said, if nothing else, the comic books maybe weren't the greatest singers in the world, but they were very good. And you got your money's worth. It was a very good entertainment.
I guess you kind of mentioned all the shows you used to tour in Wisconsin, but did you guys ever make it out of state?
Oh yeah. But not with the comic books. I went out of state on my own. The comic book had since disbanded by that time, and Floyd went out on his own and was singing standards. He did, he was a really like a Bojangles kind of a guy, that dancing and singing. And William just got lost in the, got involved with the law, and it was very sad. And but I went out on the road. I've been every, we went to Puerto Rico. We did a tour of the Orient for we did the Army and military bases in Bangkok and Guam, and this was 1967, 68, and that was with the Swingin' Lads. So I got to see quite a bit of the world. Very interesting. Las Vegas, and I remember how excited I was the first time to play Las Vegas, and then after being there, how disappointing it was because, you were so not, people were more interested in, we played the lounges, not the main room, and people were not interested in watching a band, so it was just very disappointing to sit there and play, and to a handful of people who were, had their heads down because they lost their money, and it was, but it was disappointing, the first time in Las Vegas. It got better later, but when we started playing with opening up with where they had 6, 7 acts in the lounge before the main, which they stopped now. But we played with Wolfman Jack and Pat Buttram and and Dale Robertson. Really off the wall people. And it was quite different, quite different.
I guess you mentioned that you went out of the country even with these guys. Like, what was your favorite place? Like, you mentioned Guam. And
Oh yeah,
like that.
I think we had a really great time in Tokyo. We played at the New Otani Hotel, and I just loved the Asian countries were just so much fun. I just But Bangkok was a lot of fun, and we played Okinawa, Bangkok, but it was military bases, for the senior officers, and a lot of times even we played for this. I remember once we played for the sailors, in off a ship, and it was just so terrible, We almost got booed off the stage because they were, where are the girls? It was, quite disappointing, But that was one instance I remember. It was quite embarrassing. And the most embarrassing moment was getting a chance to play the Whiskey A Go Go in Los Angeles, where all the big stars played, and we bombed so bad we almost got kicked out. I remember Don Kelly was the leader of the group, and after the first or second night, they came to him and, either take a price cut or you're fired. So it was really, really disappointing. We weren't fondly that was the home of Johnny Rivers and everybody, but they didn't really care for show groups who did terrible skits, and it was just too old school. It was just not for them.
Guess what year was that?
What year? Oh, that must have been probably 1969. And shortly after that, late '69 we disbanded the Swingin' Lads, and I formed my own group with my wife, who was the lead singer, and it was called Fun and Games, and that's where we played. We did a lot of R&B, a lot of Gladys Knight, and she was a great singer. And we recorded a couple records, but Merry-Go-Round and You Don't Have to Be a Star. But that's when we played Puerto Rico and all over the United States, at obscure places like Hutchinson, Kansas, and Danville, Illinois, and but quite an experience. And that went on for quite a while. We didn't come off the road until probably 1976 or so. And then we played in Milwaukee for a while, and then, alas, live music was just about dead, and here I was, a 40-year-old man who had to all of a sudden get a day job, and it was, if nothing else, I remember it was a depressing time. It was a depressing time. I went from wearing a tuxedo to in Las Vegas to delivering bread for natural ovens at 4 o'clock in the morning. It was quite. I think I was close to having a nervous breakdown. But all things considered, I got over it, and here I am. I'm still alive, and I have great memories to to cling to. But other than that, I don't play or sing at all anymore. I have conga drums upstairs that I fool around with for a while. I played drums for a while, but doo-wop was always my favorite. And I haven't gotten to do that in quite some. I could never find anybody in Milwaukee that could really do it. Groups like the Doo-Wop Daddies, which was an all-white group, they tried to do it, but it was so not authentic. You had to have guys like Loveless and Philip Green, and you had to have the black guys who really knew how to do it, really knew how to do that moon glows harmony, that blow harmony. They, white groups couldn't do it. And today even when I hear them, they're just, very, very poor showing of. But, they're not. They don't. I don't think they appeal much to a black audience anyway. But like I say, pretty much, doo-wop is not a big Milwaukee thing. Even now, it's probably not at all. I don't think. But the Doo-Wop Daddies are the only ones I thought that went on to do it, and they were a very poor. Well, I don't want it to get back to them, but it was something I wasn't used to hearing. It was so unauthentic. It was but here I am anyway, disgruntled.
I guess thinking past that, the day job stuff and all that, did you ever get back with the original comic books?
No, we never did. We never did. But when they brought, when I went out on my own, and Floyd went out on his own, and William became involved with the law. I think he wound up in prison, and but I never did. I never got back with another doo-wop group, and Floyd had no interest in he wasn't a real doo-wopper at heart. He wanted to be Sammy Davis Jr. So that's the road he went down. He played in Milwaukee quite a bit, doing standards. But he was good at it. But too much of a drinking problem too. But that's another story.
So I guess did you see them at all after?
Like I say, I didn't see William at all after that. When he went to prison, and by the time he came out, he had all kinds of ailments, I guess, and Floyd told me, and he passed away, and I didn't see Floyd at all because he was all around the city. We just lost touch. He went in a different direction, and my daughter was born in 1975, and my wife and I settled here, and we settled into a normal life, I guess, so to speak. But like I say, we played quite a bit, in 76, 77, and we were the house band at Nino's Steakhouse in Milwaukee. But probably around 1984 or so, we had stopped playing completely, and that I haven't played since then.
Interesting, yeah. I know. I think there's footage somewhere. A couple, I think the Floyd brothers got back together. They did some revival thing.
Yeah,
Sure.
I guess Kim Marie, who was a singer, and she got a revival together, and we played at the Italian Community Center, and she put together an oldies but goodies show with all the old guys. I tried to get some guys to with me to be the comic books, and it didn't work out very well, but we tried. And then there was Big Louie and the Renegades came down there, and Little Artie and the Pharaohs, and all the Milwaukee groups. She tried to get together and play. but it was just a poor facsimile of what they used to be. Everybody was older, but it was fun. It was lots of fun.
I guess you mentioned those groups. I guess going back in time to like 60 between 60 and 64. What was your favorite groups like from the Milwaukee area that you?
Oh,
like,
the
you saw
Milwaukee
as, like,
area, yeah. It was the great black group then was, the Seven Sounds, and Vic Pitts and the Cheaters were a great group, and Little Artie and the Pharaohs, and it was us, surprisingly enough, I was telling my wife the other day, I can't remember, and sounds strange. I can't remember what the name of our group was when I played Gallagher's when I played the Attic. I can't remember the name of the group, and I don't know why I can't. But it's just, I can remember, the comic books and the Good Intentions and the Swinging Lads, but at the Attic I couldn't remember. But those were the days in those early 60s, middle 60s, when you could go to Wisconsin Avenue and you could walk from club to club, and there was a live band everywhere, and you could spend the whole night. And, those were really, really fun times. And great great story was playing Gallagher's, and on our breaks next door was the Scene or whatever, another club, and there were two, and on our break we'd come out and we'd have a water gun fight. And everybody hid behind and was doing water guns. So I heard somebody walking, and I had a water gun, and I jumped out and squirted in the face, and it was Frank Balistreri, who's, if you don't know, was the mafia leader in Milwaukee, and in the country, and I squirted him in the face. I almost had a heart attack. I'm telling you, I apologize, and all he said was, what the hell's the matter with you? And I said, I stuttered and stammered, but that's a story that we always tell, and it's, one of my meetings with the mafioso,
I bet that was gotta be terrifying.
that was quite frightening. I remember, and he had the mohair silk suit on, and he was, because he owned the Gallagher's and owned all those clubs at the time, and I guess he must have just coming down the alley, he parked the car or whatever, but yeah, remember it well.
Just thinking now, you got all these different groups, you toured the world.
Yeah.
Like, I guess a lot of the people I've talked to, like, after that group, they're done. Is there a reason why you wanted to keep going with the music?
That I didn't play?
No, that you kept going with the music? Like,
oh, I don't know, because we always found, I never had trouble finding places to play in Milwaukee, and then probably when I met my wife in '69 and '70, we went on the road together, and came back here, and we always, our agency was in Dallas, Texas, TC Enterprises, and they booked us all over the country. We played a lot of Sheraton hotels. Free room, and playing to the crowds, but it was made good money, and yet but gone. But we had lots of fun. I saw places that we played almost every place in the United States, for God's sake, California, Florida. Georgia, there was a few states I don't think we ever played Utah or Montana, but we played really weird places, like, Danville, Illinois, and Hutchinson, Kansas, and Falmouth, Massachusetts, yeah, God, places that some were great, and some of the jobs were just long and tedious. Crowds of you know, minus you. We played so many clubs out there that just handful of people in the club, you know. But and then again we go to Indiana and Indianapolis, and the clubs were just packed, you know, every night, and lots of fun there. Made good money in Indianapolis and Louisville, Kentucky. But you know, it had, you know, there's plenty ups and downs, lots of traveling. You had one day to go from, you know, you had Sunday off. You had one day to drive halfway across the country to another state. It was just so tedious. You know, no GPS. You know, you had to grab that map and you know. Stop in gas stations, you know, where's this and where, you know, where's this, and I was in San Antonio, and I stopped at a gas station and said, you know, well, we're gonna play at the club. Where's this street? You know, oh, it's over there. By the way, he said, they got barber shops there too, you know. We had long hair, and I remember, you know, with the, geez, are they gonna lynch us or whatever, you know? Oh, you know, that's just, you know, it was a different time, you know. Long hair and you know was out of the question. But yeah, I say good memories and bad.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, it was, you know, cool but frightening. And see, looking back, it's humorous, you know, but you know.
Yeah, all the ups and downs.
Well,
Like
it was, yeah, it was, you know, a lot of ups and downs. You know, it was. Sometimes I think back on it, and it seems like it wasn't even me. It was a, you know, like I'm looking at it. It was somebody else, you know, and you know, it just seems like so. I can't believe that so much time has lapsed, you know, and but you know that. Alas and alack, it was me, you know, and I remember.
guess is there any other things you want to mention about it?
No, I mean, I think I'm pretty much, you know, there's probably many things I forgot, you know. My wife sometimes remembers a lot more than I do, but, you know, we have a lot of pictures, and I have, well, I didn't show you my scrap, you know.
I guess that's it, really.
I guess that we pretty much covered everything.
Is there anything else you want to say?
I don't know, unless you have anything that you're wondering about. But other than that, I really don't have anything to add. There's probably lots of little anecdotes and things I forgot, but pretty much that pretty much covers the, you know, my life.
Wow, cool. Well, thank you. I really
Yeah,
appreciate it.
thank you.